Hey everybody, it's Laura. Welcome back to the garden. If you grow succulents like I grow succulents, then you've got Aeoniums. And as we all know, Aeoniums are summer dormant. They come into fruition, if you will, in the wintertime, which is fabulous. But then when we get into early spring, what happens? They bloom. And I have more people ask me, how do I prune my blooming Aeonium? Bad news, you don't. Once a mother flowers, she's a goner. You have to remove the plant from the garden. So here we have this wonderful blooming Aeonium. I have left it in its blooming state for weeks to attract the bees, but it's starting to look really shabby, and now it is time for it to go. Now remember, there's no pruning, there's no way to treat this other than simply to pull it out and dispose of this entire plant. Now we have lots of different kinds of Aeoniums that have lots of different kinds of bloom. That was a Zwartkopf. We have this Aeonium urbicum, which blooms white, and as you can see, the flowers are just getting started on this one. Here's a bee right here that is enjoying the nectar. So I'm going to leave this Aeonium alone and allow the bees to enjoy it for a little longer before I remove it. Now this little Aeonium here is actually blooming at its offsets. So I can take my clippers and just remove the blooming parts. Thus leaving Mom alone to continue to do her thing. So if the mother is intact, you can leave her alone and just clip off the flowering parts. You can see she is not blooming or throwing off any kind of bloom spike. So I just removed the parts that were finished blooming. Now these Aeoniums are monocarpic, meaning that after they bloom, they die. But depending on the variety of Aeonium will determine how it blooms and how much of the plant you need to remove. With the Zwartkopf that I removed earlier, the big purple Aeonium, the whole thing came out. There were no pups. Well, with this little kiwi, you can see intact florets all around this blooming mother. So in this case, I'm not going to remove the entire plant because these have not bloomed yet. I'm simply going to take my clippers and cut the mom right down at the base by the ground and remove her. Now, if you don't like the hole that was left where you removed Mom, you can simply remove another piece, cut it up for parts, like so, dig a little hole, scratch up the ground a little bit, and then take the pieces and set them right down in the gap. Remember my rule, if your succulent stands up, you've done your job. Contrary to popular belief, when it comes to Aeoniums, size really doesn't matter. Now, you can see this Aeonium over here versus this Aeonium over here. Completely different sizes. We've got the small and the large. Both are blooming exactly at the same rate. So don't assume because your Aeonium is small that you have years ahead of you. You may or you may not. We don't know what motivates a mother plant to bloom. I certainly don't want to discourage you from purchasing Aeoniums. I don't want you to feel like they bloom after you've had them in the garden for a mere days or weeks. This gorgeous Aeonium Cyclops was my date to the high school prom. He's been here for years, and look at him. He's still magnificent. Knock on wood, isn't showing any signs of blooming. So I think we're going to be good to go with this gorgeous Aeonium for a long time to come. until next time, Bentley the succulent dog and I would like to thank you very much for visiting today in the garden and encourage you all to go out and prune those Aeoniums. See you next time. Bye.